Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Global Intelligence Update. And as always, we've got a special guest with us, KK Diaz. And KK is going to talk to us about how to build an internal digital marketing capability, which is a big statement. And he's got the evidence to back that. Lots of experience. But let me give you guys an introduction for those that don't know him. KK is a business and brand strategist, digital marketer, speaker, and author of 7 full-length books and numerous ebooks. He's the founder and CEO of A Game Business. KK equips startups, small business owners, executives, and other team execute high growth business and marketing strategies to innovate, get more customers, create a delightful customer experience, and an entrepreneurship culture of positive, passionate business people who can adapt and thrive in times of rapid change and challenge. So that's a very quick introduction, KK. Is there anything I missed?
No. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll take over and I'll fill in the gaps where I need to. Appreciate it, Chris.
Awesome.
All right,
Thanks.
man.
Thank you, KK. And
Thank
stage
you.
is yours.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And good morning to everyone again. I'm going to jump in. Yeah, it's gonna get super intense a bit, which is kind of how we roll here at A Game Business. Many of you I know have got the fundamentals in place, and some of you could potentially be even agencies themselves, which we love to work with, right? Because what makes us different, I think, in the digital marketing space is we've been extremely strong in the digital transformation area. So we don't consider ourselves a digital marketing agency, but we're a digital transformation agency. And so I welcome everyone. And with that said, as Chris said, I'm CEO of A Game Business. And a big part of what I'm going to share with you is encapsulated in the books that I've published over the years, not only just from a strategy perspective, but also from inbound marketing, not only from a concept perspective, but also from a technology perspective. So we're going to mix strategy and technology quite a bit. Bits and pieces come from inbound marketing, digital marketing guide, and of course the blue book, which is Thrive. Just FYI, Thrive was published a month before COVID hit and lockdown, and it teaches people how to business leaders specifically, how to implement digital transformation in their business in order to thrive in a challenging environment. So what I'm going to share with you are concepts, frameworks that we've shared with businesses across the spectrum, from an industry perspective, from a size perspective, and from a phase perspective. So, and also this is obviously just to show you that maybe you may want to listen to what I have to say. All right. So thanks again for all of you for being here. I'm going to assume that you are not necessarily happy with your marketing. And I'm going to just put out some of the reasons out there that many businesses actually fail with their marketing. Predominantly is because of a changing landscape, right? The landscape has changed significantly to a point where what we've learned in college, at least those who've gone to college and have been practicing prior to COVID and prior to the world of AI, especially, is not enough in order to do what needs to be done to get the right results in marketing and in sales, and therefore to generate the revenue that the business requires. And of course, obscurity. Many of us are unknown. Guys, sorry, if you don't mind, I'm just going to switch my camera off as well, just so you don't see my ugly mug while I speak. So obscurity is really the idea of not being known, right? We're not known unless you really truly create a solid brand in the market. But you also can't do that without a lack of process and a framework in place. And in today's day and age, especially if your business requires a lot of customers to survive, you're going to need a lot of automation, right? You can survive with 3, 5, maybe 10 entrepreneurs, maybe 10 clients in a spreadsheet, or, kind of systems that you've duct taped together. But without the right reliable automation, you're not going to make it. And even if you have all of this in place, without the right reporting to help you review what it is that you do and how you're performing, chances are you'll remain where you are, or actually do worse because obviously your competitors are gaining speed, right? Marketing or purchasing from a customer perspective today is extremely complicated, right? They could come into your business in so many different ways, either through your blog, through a webinar like we have today. You might get referred. I know many of you are looking at this green one and thinking, hey, I can just go for that. The thing is, you cannot get referrals until you've done all of this in place, because the people who refer are the people who've gone through, some of these processes at least, right? So my job today is to help you simplify this process. So how do you do it? Number one is you need to ensure that you get people to trust you and your brand out there, whether it's your personal brand or your business brand. People won't do business with you unless they trust you, or they'll do tiny bit of business in order to check if they can truly trust you. So how do you get them to trust you? There's a couple of questions you need to answer. You need to cross what we call the know, like, trust bridge. You need to get people to know who you are, to like you, and then trust you. And in doing so, there are various questions that you need to answer, right? For them, at least. You can do that using what's called inbound marketing, which is the framework that forms a big part of the presentation today. All right. So inbound marketing is a marketing strategy that uses online channels in order to share relevant and educational content in the same way that Circle of Excellence is doing today, right? As a way to market and, of course, to nurture customers and to get referrals going forward. But you use what's called inbound marketing, which is made up of 3 steps. Very simple. You need to attract people. You need to engage them so that you convince them to become customers, and delight them as you deliver that customer experience or that purchase, right? It's as simple as that. But simplicity sometimes takes away detail, which is something I'm going to share with you today. So again, inbound marketing is really an approach that's not only adopted by your marketing department, but everyone in the business, right? Including your sales department, your service department, your finance department. Many of you will attest to this. A salesperson or marketer will treat you so nicely until you make a purchase. And if something happens, something wrong happens with the payment, or you don't pay, finance has a nasty way of dealing with people, and that in itself can cause customers to kind of walk away, or to lose that trust in you, and so on. So you want to ensure that you implement inbound marketing in a way that every department in the business knows how you as a business want to go to market, how you want to treat prospects and customers, as well as how to turn them into advocates, right, and brand ambassadors for you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop here for a few seconds, right, in order to check in with you guys if you have any questions, because the next part that I'm going to do is probably the most detail that I'm going to give you in a single slide. Okay, so are there any questions? Does anybody want to ask a question? Chris, I haven't been checking the chat, so I'm not sure if anybody's sent any questions. All right, any questions, guys? All right, I'm going to... Yeah, nothing yet. All right, great. No problem. We're going to move on. So with that kind of context put in place, in order for you to build your own digital marketing capability, there's one critical piece that sits in the middle of your digital marketing. We're going to zoom out a little bit later when we get time, right? But what I want to share with you, I'm just going to put my camera back on here because maybe it's going to be a little bit more engaging, right? Especially as I present this next slide, which is a bit of a challenge. All right, so there are 2 complex slides that I'm going to share with you, right? Consider this hexagon, right, to be your overall digital marketing strategy. In order to build your digital marketing capability in-house, this is what you need to pay attention to, have in place, and build as a process, right? Firstly, what you want to do is be very, very clear on your value proposition, right? A value proposition is defined as the benefits and advantages that you as a business provide to your customers, right? The minute you clearly understand that, you will know who's the most ideal customer and personas that you need to deal with. Based on the definition and the description of your persona, their psychographics, things like that, that many businesses sometimes miss out, it'll help you to not only understand that person, but also how to treat them, right? From a customer relationship perspective. And this is where CRM comes in. Once you know how to treat them, you'll also know how to speak to them, right? Brand tone and personality. I mean, Chris was telling me about my talk today because I understand entrepreneurs, right? I know I can come as I am as an entrepreneur myself, right? But if I was dealing with super corporate people, I may need to dress up a little bit more formal, and my language needs to be a little bit more formal. So that helps. And it sits at the core and center of your digital marketing strategy. Good. Now, when you have all of that in place, you now need to build what's called your marketing ecosystem. And don't stress too much. Most of this, you know, there's another slide that's going to be more important than what you see here in front of you today, or right now at least. So based on what you would have developed over here, you would then develop what we call your marketing ecosystem. This is made up of your brand, look and feel, your corporate identity, your website, which is key and critical in today's day and age. That's essentially your digital destination where everybody will go in order to learn a little bit more about you and what you do and how they can stand to benefit, right? And you want to have a digital presence where people are. For example, LinkedIn is one of the most powerful platforms that you can be in a B2B if you are a B2B type business. And talking about LinkedIn, FYI, we are in the process of actually launching our own African LinkedIn type social media platform. We'll come back and tell you a little bit more about that. And there are reasons why we obviously wanted to do that. And so your digital marketing ecosystem is made up of all of these pieces that you see here. And what you want to do is you want to advertise to promote your business, your value proposition, and compel people to come and buy from you. But you can't do that without that trust we spoke about, which sits right in the middle of your strategy. Okay. And what is your digital marketing strategy made up of, and therefore your digital marketing capability? Seriously, what you see in front of you now. This is the what. I'm going to show you the how next. Okay, just after a few more minutes. So obviously, you got to have your website. You want to be active on social media. I mean, just about the entire world is on social media now. At least the type of people we may want to reach and turn into customers, right? But your website, your social media, your newsletters, they're all useless if you don't have content, if you don't have good, compelling content. This is a very important piece as well. And of course, you then want your content marketing to guide what your SEO is. Sometimes people put the cart before the horse and start doing SEO right after doing website. Look at how much you would have missed just from a strategy perspective. And lastly, you want to advertise. A lot of small businesses struggle to get leads because they think they can just do a bit of marketing without advertising. Advertising is critical because it supercharges the number of leads that you can get. And remember, this is all a numbers game. The more leads you have from a number perspective, the more traffic you generate, the more of that traffic you can convert into leads, and later those leads into qualified prospects, which you then convert into paying customers, right? Next, what you need to do, you need to use inbound marketing, as we mentioned, in order to get people to know, like, and trust you. You're going to use all of these different pieces that you see in front of you. Now, you need a CRM right there in the middle. Inbound marketing doesn't work without a CRM system, okay? Because when your customers come in, your prospects come in, you want to manage them. You want to know who they are. Where do they come from, right? How many times have they been on your website? How many times are they checking your blog? Did they download something? You know, when you send out newsletters, do they read them? Do they open them? You want to nurture them by sending them ongoing content that's relevant and related to them. For example, a brand new tech startup is very different to how we would treat someone like Mike, right? In terms of Mike of Circle of Excellence, of course, because they are both entrepreneurs, those people, but completely different from a persona perspective. And therefore, how we nurture, communicate, and make the communication relevant with someone like Mike, who I obviously need to be a little bit more respectful towards, a little bit more formal, etc., etc. I'm not saying I'm going to be disrespectful to the young tech entrepreneur. I'm just saying I can afford to be a little bit more casual. The younger person might actually appreciate me, using a bit more slang, and in some cases even explicit language, right? You know what I mean. I'm one of those people who listen to hip hop music. I watch hardcore movies as well. So I don't mind when people kind of use F words around me, F bombs and so on. It doesn't matter. But it's important for me to understand whether Mike appreciates it or the young entrepreneur so that I can speak to them in a way that they appreciate, right? And of course, I then need to automate. Automation is extremely important and therefore integrate the rest of my marketing ecosystem. Lastly, and we all thank AI for this, right? One of the most important expertise that one requires is an ability to productize and package. You need to write, tell stories, and be able to sell. AI may not help you that much from a sales and selling perspective, but it can help you to develop the copy that you then use in order to sell, right? Folks, in a nutshell, this is your marketing capability, your internal marketing. This is what you need to be able to do. This is the what. Next, I'm going to break down the how for you, right? Are there any questions at this point before I move on? None. All right. Sorry. Are there any questions, Chris? Do you mind checking for me?
Yeah, there's none yet. But after this, I asked, please to share more information on the African.
Yeah. Okay, great. Sorry, will do. Definitely will do. So maybe you can bring that up next. And if you guys are nice to me and you ask me questions, maybe I'll share the link with you and you guys can start creating your own user accounts. It's still very early days. There's only a few of us there. The internal team, actually, we're still testing, posting, and seeing if everything works. So in the next week or two, we'll push it out. So with that said, if there aren't any questions, what I'm going to do is now break down this piece here. Okay, so this is your ecosystem that you need, your marketing internal capability. The problem, though, even though inbound marketing can help you to attract more leads, get those customers to willingly want to spend more money with you, and to keep coming back, meaning to buy more frequently from you. This strategy works. It's worked. Just by the way, we've been implementing inbound marketing strategy for over 15 years for different clients. So we know this works. And because we know it works, we also knew over 10 years ago that this process is too simple. This framework is too simple. And so what we did is we reverse engineered inbound marketing. What I'm going to share with you is a way that we explain digital marketing and therefore how we would integrate inbound, right? So digital marketing within digital marketing is inbound marketing. This framework that you're seeing here is too simple. It misses a couple of steps, at least what we thought. What I'm going to do now is share some of those steps with you. But it starts with understanding what marketing is all about, right? So the customer's buying process, the buying journey, this is what they go through. They become aware of their problem, right? And in becoming aware of their problem, they start to search for solutions. This is where when they go on social media, they go and search, they start looking for solutions to their problems. They might ask, how do I grow my business? How do I do my own digital marketing, et cetera, right? And as they do that, they start considering different solutions. Now, what you want to do is make sure you put yourself in a way where you are being considered. And you cannot be considered without those pieces that we spoke about earlier. And of course, the client will then later make a purchasing decision. In order for you to be considered, as I mentioned earlier, the customer needs to know who you are, right? They need to like you and then trust you, and then they'll do business with you, right? And in knowing and liking you, a couple of transactions needs to happen there, which I'll break down further. What you need to do in order to get clients to know, like, and trust you, you got to convert them from a stranger, as I mentioned, into a lead, into a prospect, a paying customer, and then a promoter, evangelist, ambassador, and so on, right? You can do that with the inbound marketing framework, but this inbound marketing framework is too simple. Here's what we've done. We've taken that 3-step and we've turned it into an 8-step, right? So I'm going to walk you through quickly though, because of time, because of we don't have a lot of time for me to break this down into I guess its greatest detail. But I promise I'm going to do a fair enough job that will help you to understand. So as we were kind of further developing this concept, we realized that attract is more than just attract. You need to entice and attract people, right? Get them to want to come to you, right? Entice, we thought entice was a much better word. You want to entice and compel them to come to you. For example, this is exactly what Chris did over the last week or two. He enticed you to come here to attend this webinar. So put yourself in the position of someone who's not a customer or a member of Circle of Excellence, right? He enticed you to come in by giving you something that's relevant and educational for you in order to help you solve a problem, right? Which is, how do I do my own marketing? How do we save costs internally? And how do we build high impact marketing capability in-house, right? And then what happened? Then you signed up. You filled in the form, right? You need to do the same with your clients. You need to your prospects, rather. You need to get them to sign up, because signing up is one of the best ways for somebody to show that they have interest, right? Because you don't want to bother everyone who comes to your website, et cetera, et cetera. And chances are you won't know who's coming to your website if they don't sign up. So you want to give them compelling, educational, relevant content so that they can sign up. And once they sign up, unless you've got tiny bits of products and services that you can sell right away, don't be too quick to sell, because you will scare them off and they won't trust you anymore. What you want to do is you want to nurture them. How do you nurture them? This is where CRM comes in, right? Where you start sending them automated emails. Say, for example, someone like Circle of Excellence or ourselves, if you sign up for this webinar, we'll probably start sending you articles that have to do with social media, search engine optimization, and so on. So we're merely nurturing you and giving you more relevant and educational content that you can utilize in order to further build your marketing capability in-house. And what does that do? It builds that trust, okay? It builds that trust. And with AI today, I remember before AI and how much our clients used to struggle to be able to do this. And they would literally drop this whole process. But AI has obviously helped many people around the world. I mean, hundreds of millions by now, in order to develop content from a nurturing perspective. So whether it's a one page or PDF that they can use to download, or an infograph, or attend a webinar of this nature, or other things, get them to follow you on social media and continue to post. That's how you nurture them. You nurture them on social media, you nurture them via your newsletter, things like that. All right. Don't neglect that relationship, right? Because it's just like your friends. If I ask you who are your friends, you'll probably remember the people who stay in contact with you, the people who nurture the relationship you have. Clients are the same. If you do not nurture the relationship, trust me, they are gone already to your competitor or to somebody who's paying more attention to them. Now, when that relationship is fairly nurtured and established, it could happen over a few days, right? It could literally happen in one day, like right now. If we say you are in our position and you give your clients your leads, sorry, Sam's mic is on. Sam, do you mind putting him? Thank you. So what you want to do is nurture that relationship in such a way that when you do get to a part where you do propose, right, which is step number 4, is that everybody knows that you are merely trying to help them, right? And this is another way that you need to understand sales, is selling and sales is truly just about helping your clients to solve the problems that they initially came to see you for, right? Or why they came to your website. They came to your website because they have a problem. Sales and selling is merely a way for you to get that solution to them, right? And what you want to do, and hence we broke this down in these steps, is it's not up to the client to close themselves. You, as the person selling to the client, you need to close them, okay? So we've put it in there as an obvious step for you to know, if you do not close that client, the client is not going to close themselves, okay? Unless you're amazing and everybody is just falling over themselves in order to buy whatever it is that you're selling. But even then, you still need to have a process and a step in place in order to ensure that you close the people that come in. They're not going to close themselves, okay? Unless they're like early adopters who are excited about things that other people sell and they want to check it out, they'll buy it themselves and actually figure it out themselves. Also, we've put in collect here as in you need to collect the money first, right? A lot of entrepreneurs feel guilty about asking for the money. It's almost like you don't value yourselves enough, right? We always ask for our money up front. Whether it's a deposit, whether it's a full payment, right? Depending, of course, on how big the product is. But we're literally in the process of selling a negotiation and deal-making class to a government agency. It's going to cost them 75K. We want it all up front, right? And the reason why we can demand it or request, right, is because we would have established the trust. We would have established the authority by this point. And in 90% of the time, we don't have problems. That 10% is not even a problem. They just want to negotiate, which we appreciate, right? But it's very important that you value yourself, you value your business, and understand that if you've done all of this work, you deserve to collect the money up front, of course, depending on the risks of your products and things like that, okay? And then you want to make sure that you delight the customer. This is where you pull out all the stops and you make the client feel special. An example that we like to use a lot is two, actually. One of them is Zappos. I won't go into too much detail into who Zappos is, but I've seen Amazon and I've seen, who's our local Amazon again? Take-A-Lot. I've seen Take-A-Lot do it. One of the ways to delight and excite clients is to make a promise, right? That you deliver something at a particular date, but you do it sooner, right? Everybody loves that. Okay. So it's a little trick that people have used, that Zappos have used and Amazon have used quite a lot to say, hey, we will deliver next week, Thursday, and then you get it over this weekend, right? You want to find ways to delight. Now, delight is truly just about going the extra mile. Another example that I truly love is with Mount Sheba in Mpumalanga, right? I remember we visited many years ago, and it's a very dusty road to get up the mountain and, and go to the lodge and things like that. We checked in, and after we checked in, I remember we had a nice dinner. The following day, when we got up, our car was washed. You cannot imagine how excited I was about such a small thing like my car getting washed because it was dirty, etc., etc. But it truly delighted me. Can you imagine how many people I have told the story? I've literally written about this in 3 books, right? What's the point? The point here is if you delight your customers, they will be your ambassador. They will go on and tell other people about you. So you have to deliver and ensure that you pull out the stops here. And you don't have to hurt yourself doing so, right? You don't have to break the bank. $5, a bucket of water and a couple of minutes to wash somebody's car. Those things make a huge difference. So don't break the bank trying to delight and excite your customers. Make sure it's going to be a profitable activity for you. And lastly, something that a lot of us forget is survey. Find out if your client is happy, okay? Find out if they're not happy, what is it that they're not happy with? What is it that they're concerned with? Chances are just about almost every other customer will have the same concerns. So welcome it as an opportunity in order to improve your business and actually differentiate yourself further from your competitors. Ask them, even if they're happy, ask them, how could you have made it better, right? And also in the survey aspect, there's a couple of questions. There are 3 parts within the survey. So you may want to make notes of this. You want to ask them, are they happy, and fix it. Number 2, what else can you do to improve how they've gone about solving their problem? Meaning, is there anything else they need? So what is this? This is an opportunity to upsell and cross-sell, right? Very easy. Is there anything else that we can do in order to ensure that this problem never happens again, or anything else we can help you in order to improve the solution? For example, if somebody's buying a suit, right? What else goes with the suit that you may want to sell them? Pair of shoes, belt, tie, pocket squares, cufflinks, things like that. If somebody's buying a car, right? There are ways to upgrade and upsell, okay? And so on. So you want to figure out other ways that you can in your survey to ask the client, is there anything else that you can do with them? I mean, take a leaf from McDonald's. Do you want fries with that? My understanding is McDonald's has made so much money just from that one single sentence that they've obviously, it obviously contributed to the type of business that they are today, just from a size and success perspective. 2 other things you want to ask from a survey perspective. Can they give you a testimonial? So that's number 3. Can they give you a testimonial based on the experience that they've had with you? And this is why automation is important, because we forget you want to automate these processes, these steps in your CRM system. And lastly, you want to ask them if they know anyone else who may have a similar problem that could benefit from your solution. So in a nutshell, this is inbound marketing. The slide earlier, I showed you the capability that you need to have in place, the what. So you need your website, your social media, things of that nature. But right in the middle of it is your CRM system, right? Is your inbound marketing framework. And this is what your inbound marketing framework entails. Now, why do we welcome marketing agencies to these conversations? Because many of them are great with social media. They're great with designing websites and corporate identity, but they truly lack the understanding of the core, call it the core of your marketing, right? And I hope I'm not coming across arrogant, but we've seen when people don't have this in place, you can have the prettiest of websites, but if you don't have a way to entice and sign up your leads, the traffic that comes, you're not going to have leads. And if you don't have leads, you're not going to have prospects. If you don't have prospects, you're not going to have customers. So folks, in a nutshell, this is what it is. The rest is really complicated stuff that may not be necessary right now. So Chris, I'm going to look at a few slides and maybe pause here for a minute or two, and then maybe we chat and hear if there are any questions from Matthew, Sam, Rhoda, and Heather, and everyone else. Yeah. Any questions?
Looks like we're all people here.
So it's either a bad thing or a good thing when there aren't questions.
Yeah.
Good morning. Thank you so much for sharing. It's really very informative. I enjoyed it, although I joined late. I had another meeting. I would love to see how we can connect, Diaz, on one-to-one, and how you can offer your service. I'm not sure if I missed something in the beginning. I'm based in the UK, and I am the Circle of Excellence licensee in the UK.
Oh,
so I would love to see how we can connect.
Fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Chris?
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. I can definitely connect you guys up.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Grace.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Chris, also, if you don't mind, I'll send this to you. It's my calendar link, right? So whoever wants to meet, or should I just share it here?
Yep, put it in the chat, please.
All right, great. So this is my calendar link. Feel free to just book time, and we can discuss. It's a no obligation discussion, so don't feel like you're going to be charged or I'm going to make you pay anything. That won't be the case. Guys, any other questions? Rhoda, thank you. I appreciate it. As soon as you get a chance, go right ahead and book anytime it's convenient for you. And if you are struggling to find time, feel free to let me know. Or maybe I need to send you, all of you, my email address as well, which I'm going to share.
So Heather's got a comment here. Keen to know more about the Africa platform, and great content. Love the step-by-step approach.
Thank you. Well, you're going to get more steps, Heather. So I will talk to you about the A. I will share it with you now. What I would like to do is just finish off the two other pieces that I promised for you guys. I won't present. I'm going to give you links so that you can read through it, okay? Because I don't want to overwhelm you by giving you way too much, because then you end up forgetting all the other important stuff that we've discussed. So here's what I'm going to suggest you do for the social media and the other stuff that I promised we would cover. I'm going to share my screen again, but this time around, it's not my slide deck, right? It's our blog, okay? So what you should do when you get a chance, right, is, so I'm going to share with everyone. Thanks, Rhoda. Appreciate it. See you've already booked. Okay, so what I'm sharing with you now, I hope you can see it. You can see my screen, right, which is the blog, our company blog. So when you get to our blog, there are the last two articles here that we wrote, right? I need you to go to this one first, okay? The 7 steps to creating content that attracts, engages, and converts traffic into qualified leads. So what this is going to help you to understand is how do you then do your content marketing and your social media as well, because I find a lot of clients struggle with this. Firstly is you'll get to define your content categories, right? What we also enjoy about this article is that we've got prompt that you can use in ChatGPT to make your life easy, right? So you can start coming up with the right content categories for your own business. Step 2 is article titles and ideas. So of course, you can get ChatGPT to do that for you. We have a prompt here that you can use. Just make sure you use the same chat that you're using, meaning when you ask chat to give you content categories in step 1, in the same chat, ask it to do step 2, which is to give you article titles. After your article titles, ask ChatGPT to create a content calendar for you. All right. We also have prompts that you can utilize here. And if you're struggling, please feel free to reach out. And then, write engaging article content. And lead magnets, which is something we can cover later. Of course, lead magnets, these are things like webinars, downloading a PDF, things like that. So feel free to check out this article. It's going to help you quite a bit. The next one is if you really want to be, considered a thought leader, which I think predominantly most of you may want to do that, right? Because it helps to establish that trust and that credibility in the market. So that's what you're going to do. In as far as the other component that we promised on the advert, at least for this webinar. Folks, with that said, I think I'm going to stop here. And as far as the presentation is concerned, maybe what I can do, some of you who can, you can maybe just take a screenshot of this. These are contact details. My mobile number is also on there, of course, our website, but I've given you my personal email address, right? So feel free to take down the company info at agamebusiness.com email address as well, my mobile. Feel free to WhatsApp me. I'm very much keen to continue chatting. So with that said, that's the end of our presentation today. If there are any questions, I'm more than happy to address them. If they aren't, I'll then share with you our social media platform.
Yeah, quite a lot of information, just like you said, KK. And I see you really try to compact it all, to make it as information as possible. So it's very, very cool. I really like it, man. Really good concept.
Appreciate it very much. All right, great. So what I'm gonna do now very quickly is Rhoda, thank you. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Yeah, that's right, Rhoda.
Rhoda, thank you. Thank you for that. All right, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to share with you a social media platform that we call the A. Let's do this. All right, so it's essentially our community platform, right? As A Game Business, we've always wanted to, of course, build a community platform. Let me share this with you. Please don't share it out just yet. But if you want to, start creating your own, if you want to start creating your own profile, go ahead and do it. And then and let me know what your experience looks like. We're still testing in the house. But essentially, whatever we are posting on LinkedIn, we are kind of posting here as well. To see how things work. For example, I was able to realize that there's something wrong we have with our. So when we put in things like www and semicolons, and sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, so those are some of the things we're picking up. But essentially, our social media platform, which we call the A, is supposed to help Africans predominantly, to gain a little bit more visibility. I'm sure many of you will agree that LinkedIn is fairly expensive. It's congested, right? It's congested with a lot of people, number one. It's congested with a lot of spam, a lot of AI. Now, there tends to be, what I've discovered over the last couple of months is the connection is so disingenuous, right? Especially when it's automated. including us using AI just to write some of these posts. But over the years, it's something we've always wanted to do, to predominantly give Africans a way to connect with each other. Are you folks familiar with something called AfCFTA, which is the African Continental Free Trade Agreement? Is anybody aware of that? It's been around for something like 30, 40 years, right? And it's I think it's shameful that we haven't taken full advantage of free trade agreements across, I think, something like 40, 45, 48 countries. It could be slightly less. But essentially what it means is there are African countries that have gone into agreement to say, we can do business, minus some of the more difficult administrative issues, tax duties, tariffs, and things like that. And of course, we want to get to know each other. It's very difficult to find each other on this continent, as close as we are with each other. And so what we've done is we've built this platform for those three main reasons. One is the existing social media platforms like LinkedIn, they're congested, they're expensive. And lastly, we're just not leveraging the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, right? That's essentially what we're doing. And we're hoping in the next 3 to 5 years that we'll recruit about 1 million members in order to get everybody to create those trusted, real human connections. And folks, for us to leverage, the connections and the resources and the people and the technology, and for us to build what belongs to Africa as well. I think it's time, and that's why we're putting this out, and we would love for each and every one of you to be part of it, and to share what you do and help other African businesses in order to thrive and grow. Yeah. And that's as much as there is. Sorry, is it similar to NAFTA, North African Free Trade? It sounds like it. It sounds like it, Matthew. I don't know enough about NAFTA. I'm actually going to check it out myself. I'm just going to put it up here, NAFTA. Make sure I read up on it. It sounds exactly like it. Yeah. Sounds exactly like it. Are you participating in NAFTA, Matthew? All right. If there are any other questions, guys, ladies, gents, still here. I think we still have a bit more time. To feel free to shoot, yeah, Chris?
Yeah, KK, no, I just want to comment on your platform that you guys have created. That's it's not a small task, and it looks good, from what we. It's very impressive. Well done. I know, of course, it's still quite a lot of work that you guys will put into it to redefine it and make it outstanding, but it's really, really good. Well done.
No, thank you. And it's all the feedback that's going to help us to make it better, yeah? Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Matthew says, not exactly. I try to focus on several continents. Got you. Great. It'll be great to connect with you, Matthew, and see what it is that you do and to explore some synergies. And of course, with everyone on the call, yeah, including those who probably watch the replay as well. Is there a link to the platform? Yeah. Sorry, I thought I shared it. Heather, I realize it's just after your comment. Okay. Chris just shared it again. Wonderful. Thanks, guys. Right.
Awesome. So if there's any other questions, you can. Well, looks like KK, you did a great job in presentation today. Everyone understands clearly.
Thank you. Wonderful. I would just say, read up a little bit more on inbound marketing. We obviously have a book that we've published on inbound marketing, and we've got a couple of blog articles, so feel free to browse around. And if you've got specific questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, KK, and thank you for making the time to be with us today. Really lots of insights, lots of information that you shared, and wow, what a platform, eh? Super excited to come for that.
Thank you very much, and please pass my regards to Mike, Landy, and everyone in the company. I really look up to you guys, and you make me step up my A game, so I really appreciate it, including all the entrepreneurs, of course. Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, KK, and thank you to everyone that's here live, that's viewing us, and also to everyone offline. We hope you have a great week ahead, and we'll see you again next week.
Goodbye, thanks, everyone. Take care.